The RPA Today Show, hosted by Howze and Wilton Rogers. The show that brings you the latest insights on RPA, robotic process automation, and how it's impacting every industry, as well as interviews with companies that are currently winning big with this technology. You'll also hear from other industry leaders and experts who will be sharing some of their success secrets to help you become more productive and to grow your business. This show is brought to you by Simply Automate, where we help you get more done in less time and more ease for your mind with strategic business automation. Learn more at www.simplyautomateinc.com, and please follow us on LinkedIn. If anything in this show resonates with you, please let us know by leaving a review. The RPA Today Show, where you just might learn something you didn't know. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the RPA Show. I'm your host, Rob Howze, my co-host, Wilton Rogers, the automation guy. We are here today to teach. And hopefully when we teach, people can learn. Because if you can learn, then you can grow. And when you grow in the areas of business, Wilton, your business gets better. The people that work for your business is happier. Your ROI, return on investments in all the areas are going on the uprise. So we're going to talk about stuff like that, man.
Yeah, excited to do that, man. It's definitely an honor to sit down here and talk about RPA and what it's doing and how we're seeing it really impact the people that we're engaged with and our clients and getting testimonies and data from them.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
It is. It's awesome when you see the fruit of the labor, right? The fruit being the outcome people are experiencing, the nice cause and effect. The effect being businesses staying open and people being happier and operations being efficient, and the cause being intelligent automation.
That's it.
And I think, if we give 3 tips today on how businesses can improve their operations and their entire business with intelligent automation, if we can just give 3 tips on how you can easily implement these 3 things and create benefits for your business, would that be a good idea?
I think it'll be a great idea. I think keeping it very simple and that way people can understand what they need to do to take advantage of it is the best way to do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, having said that, folks, we're going to kick it off. So get your pen or get your phone out so you can type in your notepad. 3 ways how intelligent automation can improve your business. Okay. Tip number 1. First of all, it reduces the workload of your employees. It reduces the workload of your employees. Can you imagine your manager or senior staff or whoever was the leader where you were working? Can you imagine if they came to you one day and said, you know what? I'm going to take 60-70% of the workload you've been doing away from you. That manual work, remember that manual work you were doing? You were punching in keys and the repetitive work, all that stuff you were doing. I'm going to take 60 to 70% of that away from you. What the heck would you say? How would you feel, Wilton?
It's funny that you say that because, at first people are sort of threatened because they're like, hey, you know what, this is going to take my job away. What I'm going to end up doing. But what we realize and what we've seen in business, especially in the smaller businesses and medium-sized enterprises and things like that, is it's really allowed them to show their true skills. And what I mean by that is, a lot of people are head down, typing away, taking from data to data, moving things around, and they're not really being involved in the front end of their business. They're not being engaged with clients, with other employees. Yep. So the morale is different, and it's almost like, you walk in, you're almost like a human robot. You go to work and do the same thing over and over again. The minute we started taking that away, it was like these employees were a kid in a candy store, right? They're just having a great time trying to figure out what to do, what to grab, right? So, but what we found out is that they're able to find a special skill that they're already set at and use that skill within the company they're already working with because they already have experience there. And we've seen that these companies are starting to see more growth. There's the morale within the organization has changed completely. And everybody are in the within that business walls are a lot happier because now they have purpose, they have value. And before it was almost like they felt like it was just another day at the, clocking in and clocking out. and now they have value. So it's really changed the game for businesses, and the more they're starting to see it implementing RPA, the more that they're being more involved in trying to reduce those areas of manual work so they can spend more time on the front end of their business.
Right. That's the goal. The goal is to shift your energy and time and away from the repetitive things, automate that so you can then use that same energy and time resources for more front of the organization, value driven activities type of things. Of course you want to do that.
Yeah.
Of course you want to do that. And so that is intelligent automation. I mean, RPA is a form of automation, robotic process automation, but intelligent automation is doing the things right? It's not just going and trying to figure out what I can do with technology and just going for it, because that's just literally you're put it like this. It's almost like you're if you can run, you can have velocity by covering distance, or you can run like you're on a treadmill, like a gerbil, and go nowhere. Right? You can still spend the same amount of energy, but you're not going anywhere. And so intelligent automation allows you to have velocity with your.
It does. Funny story is that even today, we had two different clients. Their employees are sending us, processes that they're currently doing that they want to automate because they already saw what that first process did. They're like, wow, you did this for me. What about this? Can you do this? Can you do this? So they're getting more involved because they're seeing their value being more in the front of their business. So they're saying, hey, what else can you take away from me that I'm doing? Like basically is their assistant. Basically the digital robot is their assistant, right? It does what they're supposed to do, but allows them to do it so they can do more productive things. Yeah. And we had two clients literally this morning, emailing us back and forth saying, hey, we have this process. Can you do this? We'll just map it out and see. So we have our team working on that as we speak.
Wow. There you go. Intelligent automation. That's big. Okay. So we know that it reduces the workload of employees and takes redundancy work away from them and allows them to be more creative and allows your organization to move forward. Boom. Number one. Number two is it helps the business be more compliant with regulations. And compliancy is huge. There's a number in every industry of how much companies pay for failure to comply. Right. How many businesses go out of business because of this? And so how important is compliancy in following those regulations? And how important is that? And have you seen what has been your experience on the level of this importance?
Yeah, man, it's extremely important. I'll share a story that we have with one of our clients, the manufacturing company. They do a lot of shipping and they have to get certain things to certain areas at a certain time. And because of human error, they might ship it to the wrong place. They might have missed an invoice. They might have missed different things that really allow them to reach the destination, and they get fined for this, right? So over the last 3 years, they showed us they had been fined, and I think in 2020, 2021, before we started working with them, they were fined over $150,000, right? And so you figure that out. What is that? A little bit more than $10,000 a month, right? So now they've been running, right? We've been running. Guess how many fines they've had in the first quarter of this year? Zero fines. Like there hasn't been one. So
right now they'd be at about 30 or 40,000 at least.
And not only that is that they're growing, right? And shipping's coming more is more rapid right now. So for them, it's like not only are they probably saving more, but the shipping, because of COVID and everything else, everything has to be detailed. Everything has to be detailed, and they're on time, and know it's going to the right place. So because the shipping takes a little bit longer now, so they think that it would be a lot more this year than it was even last year. So for them, it was just totally like this is a game changer. And the thing about it is that their ROI on that is just out the roof. We can't even really calculate, because not only are they saving money from the inefficiency, but the labor that goes into it, all the manual work and the errors that they have to go back and fix, those hours can't be calculated because there's so many hours, right? Even if they do the compliance process for about, let's say, 2 hours a day, right? After it comes back and they start seeing errors and they have to resend things and redo things, those hours are counted in. So it's really hard to even calculate how many hours they put into this. But just on the hours and the financial alone, you're talking about tens and thousands of % ROI for sure. Crazy numbers.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
That is just it's phenomenal what the right technologies with intelligent automation can do when you do it. I mean, holy moly. You think about, okay, and so just so everyone knows, let's talk about the how real quick. So yes, the savings is happening. How is it happening? Well, by automating your processes, you remove the human error.
Mm-hmm.
Zero. That's
Zero.
a short story of it.
That's it.
If you remove error, you're compliant. It's a real short story. Remove the errors, stay compliant. Oh, and by the way, optimize the process and get more out of it.
Right.
Oh, by the way, there's a return on investment that turns into growth revenue for the organization, growth product, growth market expansion, everything that you're trying to do.
Right. And the reason why it's 100% accurate is because it follows the logic that you create. Right. It does all the what ifs for you. What if this happens? What if that happens? What if that? Once we fill all those in, it can't make a mistake. And the thing about it, if it doesn't understand, if we didn't put a logic in there that it didn't understand, it gets kicked back to the human saying, hey, what is this? Basically, what do I do here? It's like your assistant, right? It's like, hey, you didn't teach me this. What do I have to do here? Same thing with the bot. And the minute you teach it, say, oh, by the way, you have to go over here in order to get that done. Then we put that logic back in there, and guess what? It'll never ask you that same question again, right? So that's the reason why it's 100% accurate, because it can't make mistakes following the logic that you build.
Mm-hmm. It can't make mistakes. And that it's funny because that really segues right into number 3, and that's improving the process production and streamlining growth. So number 3 is the reason why intelligent automation is great for businesses, because number 1, it improves your processes. Mm-hmm. Your process production improves. And so if your employees are happy because they're not doing the mundane work and they're more inspired and come in and engage, and you're compliant, you're meeting all the levels you need to meet, now your processes are now optimized. So whatever you were doing before, you're doing it at the best level, the highest level you can, from A to Z, and you're able to monitor that. That's how you can determine this. Improving your process production is, I like all 3, but this one kind of gets right to, here's your benefit. You automatically improve your process. You were saying some things before, like our overnight ROI. I was like, wow, that's interesting. Because the moment you load a digital employee, the moment you load RPA in, the moment you do this, instantaneous, you've optimized it.
Instantaneous. Just think about this. Let's say that you hired an assistant to take care of all those, repetitive, labor-intensive manual tasks for you, right? You're going to feel great about it, but you're going to also have some thought like, okay, can they do exactly what I do? And you're going to still have some reservations, and you're going to still sort of monitor them because you're not sure that they're going to make mistakes, right? But when you can get a digital employee, and you can take the digital employee, you can take whatever's in your head and have the digital employee do every single time. That's security, that's their safety net, saying it's thinking like I think, right? I gave it the power to think like I think, so it's going to follow exactly what you do, so you can be at rest the whole time. It's just, and not only that, it works 100 times faster than a human, and it'll never ask to take a break, call in sick or anything else. It'll just, when you want it to work, it'll work with no problem. So that's the difference, is that think about it as an assistant that will never make a mistake and never sleep, and works 100 times faster than a human can.
Wow. And that is what RPA is. That is what a digital employee is and what it can do. And why, if you have a business, you need to be looking into it. Get educated so you can get intelligent and then get the automation. Hello? That's definitely something you want to do.
That's it. I think, and that's a great thing. I'm glad you brought that up because you're right. I know every business needs to know what RPA is, like every business. And we've talked to businesses that say, we're not interested right now. And I'm thinking, okay, you're not interested in saving money on manual processes that you're doing and giving your employees the value they really deserve to help your company grow. So when you look at it, it's like RPA is just it's software automation on steroids, right?
Mm-hmm.
Most of your applications, I'll just take you an example. Let's say you have Excel spreadsheet and you have QuickBooks and you have all these different processes, thousands and thousands and thousands of applications of software can't talk to each other. But so you have to have a human be able to transfer data from one place to another place, right? The only thing that can do that at the speed the software or your network will allow you is RPA. And every business has manual processes. When you can identify those manual processes, you need to sit down and figure out, okay, now how can I automate this? So, funny fact, if you go back to, I think it was about 2 months ago, you and I talked on a podcast and we talked about the growth of RPA, right? And we said it was growing at I don't know, I forgot, it was like growing 3 times faster every year, whatever it was, right? And I remember saying, those stats that came out from experts back in 2019, I was like, okay, that's not true. It's way faster than that. Mm-hmm. And I remember a client saying, well, how is it faster than that? It's pretty fast. I said, because we've been in it since 2017. So we've seen the growth. And from my experience, it is. Well, Forrester just came out with a report in late February that backed that statement. It's the speed has quadrupled since the last report on how fast RPA was growing. I mean, it was growing like this, like but it's almost like at a straight skyscraper type growth, right? Because people are understanding that there is new technology that's a different level of automation. And people get confused with automation because they think if they buy software, it's automating. And it does. It does automate certain things, but it's not a full scope automation for your business. Now people are starting to understand that, and it's taken off. So the need to understand RPA is important for not only for the business, but for your employees, for the morale, for the growth of your company, the scale of your company a lot faster, right? Yeah. And once they understand that, we're seeing that businesses are doing multiple processes right away. We have clients that are in their 6th, 7th, 8th, 10th processes in the last few months. There's one after another. We're building them and throwing them and launching them. So it's very important for every business to at least understand and get a clear vision of how it can help.
Listen, it's imperative to get a clear vision. If you have a business, it's imperative. You owe it to yourself and people who are working with you, right? And a quick route, the automation guy has put together something that's going to allow you to do that. It's called the RPA Playbook. And this playbook, you think about it, we're all coaches here in this game, okay? Game of business, right? What plays are you calling when it comes to this technology? What do you understand about this, right? Well, the X's and the O's are inside of this transcript, right? Why don't you share a little bit about the RPA Playbook and how with the RPA Playbook, we're talking about intelligent automation as a quick way to get you on the right team.
Yeah, it sure is. And I think the reason I wrote that playbook is because, over the last 5 years or so, I've had conversations with thousands and thousands of business, leaders and executive leaders and managers about RPA. What I notice is that, first of all, everybody sees it differently. They visualize it differently, right? And they're all on different paths. Sometimes they know a little bit about it, or sometimes they're an expert in one area of it, or considered an expert in one area. and some just don't know about it. So everybody's learning at a different level. So the playbook is, I made it because it allows you to be able to find out where you are in your RPA or automation journey and be able to pick up from there and figure out all the resources and knowledge you need to really implement it fast, right? So we have people that never heard of it, the playbook from the beginning to the end. At the end of the playbook, you understand it. People that, let's say, have an IT department, which we're working with quite a few of them, right? But they're very limited on how much RPA can do. And I put that playbook because myself and the staff that we're surrounded with has had years of experience in those areas. So I'll be able to combine everything together and be able to share that with the world. So anybody on any part of the RPA journey will be able to take advantage of this RPA playbook. And it's only like 25, 26 pages. I was planning to make it like maybe a few pages, right? Just it started off, and I just kept going and kept going and kept going, and realized there's more to share. So yeah, so it's available on. You just go to RPAPlaybook.com, and we're good to go.
RPAPlaybook.com. Easy peasy.
Yeah.
Easy peasy. And that's a great way to get yourself on the intelligent automation path, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it's important. It's important that you learn, which you don't have to pay anything right now besides attention.
That's it. Pay attention. That's it. If you pay attention, you'll be good to go.
Good to go.
That's it. Yep.
Yeah, man. Any final words on this?
I think the only final word is that, I think it's very, whatever you do, just do some research on RPA, because it's so important for you to really understand the power of it, for businesses to understand the power of it. And I think people put it off because they have too much they have too many things on their plate. The thing about the RPA playbook, it'll take those things off your plate right away, right? So, that was it. That's it. Basically, you need to know about RPA. I don't know if you can hear my daughter crying in the background, but she's yelling in the background. I
couldn't hear, but I did hear that the RPA playbook can help you take some things off of your plate. And so this is not about if, ladies and gentlemen, it's about when. And when. I suggest now, get educated so you can get automated. The RPA Show. Well, you just might learn something you didn't know. Until next time.